Hi there, welcome to the new Litecoin Wyckoff analysis session. Like a fellow in the community has requested for it, so let's try to do it. You see a blank chart right now, so I'm going to borrow some Wyckoff text from another chart and we'll put it live in here and see where Litecoin is right now. So let me quickly borrow from Bitcoin some of these Wyckoff text. They're still pretty small, so I'll enlarge it along the way. We need all these key stages. I don't need this second test first of the distribution. Hopefully they will reappear in Litecoin's chart. Not always everything will happen, but most of the times 70–80% of them will be there. So let's move across to Litecoin. So here, what I'll do is, first thing first, as usual, the long-term playground zone. This is somewhere, it is, so yep, that will keep it at the weekly time frame. So let me paste the text over here and then we'll move them in later on, not at this scale. Let me enlarge it, so when we paste them they'll be, yep, not like oversized. So this long-term playground zone, I just quickly copy this text over here, I don't have to type all over again, is where the price or Litecoin itself is being traded for an extended period of time. So for this case, it's since 2017 that the absolute low has been around mid $29, and the peaks or the high point for this trading range or this playground zone is around $130. So the evidence you see all these lows, this one got close enough. Last year it was a little bit better, and then these areas of trading, these peaks, and then these trading areas, these peaks plus the peaks this time, all signals that this is a very solid long-term reference trading zone or playground zone, I would like to name it, because it's like kids playing in playgrounds. They're bound within these boundaries. So quickly back to Wyckoff. So let's take a quick look from distribution to accumulation back to distribution. So buying climax is my favorite. That's happened in November, December, early December last year. And automatic reaction, I would enlarge it, so if you're watching on a mobile device, that will be easier for you. So we're already at the auto scale. Yeah, 28 seems right. And then obviously there was a smaller second test, so it went high but it doesn't close high enough, and then eventually sign of weakness, plus it's not an upthrust over here, that's not high enough, so I'll make it somewhere over here just in case another cycle had an upthrust. I'll use that later. That's also a second test, and no upthrust after distribution obviously. However, I want to enlarge this too as well. Okay, what we have here is, well, you can say it's like a new accumulation cycle. So let's say let's put the PSY over here, that's the preliminary supply. Let's say if that's really a preliminary support, PS, not PlayStation, preliminary support, and selling climax, plus an automatic rally. Okay, and a second test. Interestingly, if it is really an accumulation, not an LPSY, because it went so deep that I'm very tempted not to name it accumulation, but it's like the level is in that way. So here there was like not even a sign of strength, but a very short backup and supply, last one of support kind of thing that happened over here. And immediately it went to, that looks to me maybe a new PSY. Let's put a question mark here. It may be a PSY or a buying climax, but I'm more inclined to think it's likely a PSY. Let's see whether that's the case. Yeah. So there, during PSY, sometimes it goes like this without the fluctuations, but sometimes there will be just crazy fluctuations before it reach the buying climax like these. So that's why I'm saying it looks to me it's a PSY stage. So that's the big picture in the weekly. I'm not going to plug in all these tags over here. I just leave whatever that's already there, and so we can have a reference. So just to save your time, I'm just going to quickly plug in and let you see, okay, it does happen with all these scenarios that, well, spring probably similar to upthrust and upthrust of distribution there weren't much, but I can pretty much copy across all these tags, and yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to do. So into the daily chart, given we have this as the context. Oh wait, one more thing is the lines of support and resistance. So currently it's coming down, so it's good to start with the support. The first line of support is here. Let's use yellow for the moment. You see the wicks this week and last week pauses right or stops right at this level. Why? If we look at this, the automatic rally, that's May 12th, and 2 weeks, first and second week of May, it reached this level, and then the sign of weakness during February was also at this level. Plus, this buying climax over here back in March were at that point as well. Well, that is a little bit interesting for Litecoin itself, because this climax was so short that it immediately retraced. Anyway, so that's the first line of support. We see 2 weeks it has been above this, so hopefully it continue to find support, then it will show us that this is a PSY, and then it will go up to the buying climax. That's a hopeful scenario. While the chart is very dynamic and still developing, I'm wild guessing for this one. Then the second line of support is right here. You see it cuts across the PSY plus the automatic reaction. These are the points that I'm talking about. The crossover of these candles, head, tail, and this wick, automatic reaction. So this is the second line of support. If we extend this further, you can also find more peaks over there, and that's, I would say, for support it's good. That is more solid. That's around $98. And how about third line of support? Third line of support, looking at these exchange at preliminary support plus these bunch of candles over here as well as here, and where these candles find support. This looks to me the third line of support. I'll use red for this one, and that's around $89 or $90. So these three lines are the supports. And resistance. First line of resistance over here. let me change the color. Let's use green maybe. So that's around $117. Not only because it has showed us just last 2 weeks, but if we look at these bunch of candles, it's clearly a level that it will find resistance, and the second line of resistance would, well, this is a weak one. I wouldn't leverage this, but because there's also some peaks over here, so very close to the white line, the top edge of the long-term playground zone, we see another one over here. I just use like sky blue, so that's around the 127 mark. Before this top edge of the box at around $132. So remember, I talked about these peaks over the course of 7 years. So 3 lines of resistance, 3 lines of support. Now it's time to get to the daily. So normally the very first sessions would be longer than the regular sessions. So in the daily chart, well, I might as well populate this long-term playground zone so we know where we are, and quickly put this one as well, all intervals. Then in the daily we'll see these showing up. So time to look at the Wyckoff in the daily chart, and again I'll borrow some text from let's say Ethereum this time. So thrust of the distribution, up thrust, sign of weakness, second test, back up. Oh, where's the buying climax of this one? I might have missed it, but let's put that back in next time when we do Ethereum. Interesting finding. It might have moved somewhere. This will probably be here. I might have deleted it accidentally, going back to Litecoin. So let's put in set auto, move this across, add in the text. So, well, from what I see now, if we start with buying climax, that's easier to change, just change one character. And we had the automatic reaction. That was the one over here, is like a lower second test. Over the past 5 days, they were all below this green resistance line that we've drawn in the weekly chart. Remember this first line of resistance? Over the past 5 days, the price has been staying below that line, and currently we're at the first line of around the first line of support. And if the price rebounds from this point, say it rebounds from here and get to test this green line again, then we have a sign of weakness over here. Well, actually it already did, because yesterday closed at this point at around the level of automatic reaction. So this is pretty much confirmed. Just that one thing hopefully it won't happen is like today, or if the today closes as a cross, tomorrow it immediately goes down, then this tag is irrelevant, because it's going into the very close to a new accumulation cycle. So as of this moment, there's no upthrust of the distribution, no upthrust. I would put this tag over here. That's the PSY, not the Gangnam style, just preliminary supply. So here, accumulation cycle. We have the backup and last point of support. Obviously, when we look at this, the price comes down from here. The preliminary support was probably here, and then that's the automatic rally. That was the silent climax, and a sign of strength somewhere here. There was a second test at this point, and then a spring over here. There were some more tests here, but that's fine. let's say that's the last point of support. So okay, that's a quick put together for both accumulation, distribution. Volume has been coming down. This red bar is higher than the other greens, so that's good news for the bears, not so good news for the bulls. Anything else? What do we expect after the sign of weakness? Hopefully there will be a rebound, but would that be the case if we look at the weekly? What is going to is telling us, okay, if this really finds support above the yellow and it comes to a point where it really climbs to the buying climax, then in the daily there will be a rebound, and that would be an upthrust of the distribution as well if the weekly is really going to the buying climax. So in this case, scenario 1, let's treat this as that will be an upthrust. If, however, this PSY is going to be a prolonged one with a lot of wick movement or sideways trading that deviates from what happened in recent time in November, there were times like this. If this PSY is really that kind of movement in the daily, it can fluctuate between here. That's where the new accumulation will happen, and then eventually when the weekly finishes the PSY and go to the buying climax, then in the I don't want to keep this here. If I go to daily, if that's the case, after these movements, then there will be a new distribution cycle that goes above the white line. So those are the two scenarios. As of this moment, let's keep these tags over here. If in the weekly, well, hopefully this is a new distribution. It seems like it is, given it's showing higher highs as well, so there are quite a bit of positive signs. One more thing we can check, I've almost forgotten that the Keltner squeeze is coming. So during early, like beginning of this month and late June, there was a squeeze and we've got this massive move upwards. Currently, it's still not there yet, but the purple lines are coming closer, while these orange lines are getting together as well. So if the consolidation really happens within the green and the yellow, the first line of support, the first line of resistance, if the consolidation continues, these lines will come together and the orange will bracket the purple. That's when a chance it's going to happen that there may be a buying climax coming in. Hopefully that's the case, but remember, a squeeze doesn't always mean a price upwards. It can mean something like this, a price going downwards as well. So while we hope for the bullish scenario, don't let yourself off guard and forget to set your stop loss. Remember, hope for the best, always set your stop loss. So thanks for joining me today. Hope you like this new Litecoin session. I've been adding a couple of sessions lately because the community wants to see more. If there something, hopefully with a better history, track record, so I can add in these Wyckoff stages, so you have better reference. If it's very new coin and hasn't developed a pattern, that would be tougher to guess where it is. So hopefully you like this, and see you tomorrow.